Hey, welcome back to YNR Update. It's Paul. Things get really interesting on today's episode. At first, we see Billy and Vicky, and they're commiserating over their disconnect with their significant others. Billy sort of beats himself up about his breakup with Vicky and all the things that he did wrong, and it sort of brings the two of them close together. We see them share a really tender moment, and it almost looks like something could happen, but of course it doesn't. Next, we see Gabe. Adam. Yeah, he's in the car with Chelsea. They've broken down, and he's starting to use his knowledge of his life with Chelsea to sort of, pry her feelings about Adam out, and he keeps hammering at it. And eventually she gets into it and starts talking a lot about what she felt for Adam, but eventually it gets a little creepy for her, and she starts pushing back, which Gabe doesn't like. And it's really good as far as the character of Adam goes, because we know he does not like resistance. It tends to make him aggressive, and he gets aggressive with Chelsea. In fact, she goes to leave and just try to make it on her own out of the car, and he grabs a hold of her, and it sort of spooks her, and she sort of pushes him back, and and she says to him, "You're not my husband." And so it's getting really hard for Gabe to keep the fact that he is Adam under wraps, and you can see it. And in fact, Chelsea is starting to see a lot of reminders of Adam in Gabe, so who knows how long it's going to take before that comes out. We also see Kevin decrypting, or trying to decrypt, Austin's computer files, but it gets sort of hectic because he can't get anywhere with the Sharon files. But what he does find, actually, it sparks a debate, obviously because Noah and Mariah are defending Sharon, where you've got Kevin and Summer, and they're saying maybe Sharon could be a major suspect in this. So it's making things sort of awkward. But eventually Kevin does decrypt one of the files, and it's Austin. And in his own words, he sort of makes them think that, it could be Sharon. So Kevin goes back to trying to, decrypt the files of Sharon. So we see the kids going back and forth, and they start throwing out a lot of suspects. This is the thing where it gets a little confusing, because when you're doing a mystery like this, the more stuff you throw on the fire, the more people you throw on the fire, it gets a little bit confusing. Now, we see Summer going to a flashback, and she has a flashback about Austin, and he's asking a lot of questions about Nick. He basically tries to roll Nick into the whole Newman family of privilege who love to drop their name. But in the flashback, Summer's telling him that Nick's not like that. He wants nothing to do with the company. He's never used his name to get ahead. And you still see the wheels turning with Austin. So you throw that into the clue bin, and there's more stuff. We also see Noah speaking to Dylan, and he asks Dylan about the night of the crash. Now, what he wants to know is his mom's state of mind. He wants to know if Sharon, was acting like she was off of her meds. You know what I mean? And I think Dylan's confused too, because he's sort of thinking back and trying to figure out if she actually was acting, a little bit unstable. We also see Kevin, once he gets a little bit further with the computer, he lets the group know that he does think that someone is stalking them. And in fact, he figures out that someone deleted the files while they were all passed out. So it almost proves to him that none of them are responsible for the murder, because they were all out at the time that the files were deleted, meaning that the killer was someone that was observing them and sort of left while they were passed out. Sharon goes to Dylan, and you see them getting closer again. But Sharon tells Dylan this time around that, she tells him about the interview with Austin and how ashamed she is, and how she feels like it's going to be more ammunition for Nick to use against her when he finds out all the things that she said about him. So Dylan, ever the peacemaker, because he's sort of caught, this is his brother, and he tells her the best thing is honesty. Honesty is the best policy. Go to Nick, let him know what you know, and get it out of the way. That way it's not hanging over your head. So Sharon eventually agrees, and before that we see Nick and Sage, and they, as I mentioned before, they're getting closer. They've shared a drink, they're dancing. They decide to take it to the next level, only they're in the storage room at the club. And guess what? You know what's going to happen. They start going at it, and guess who walks in? Sharon walks in, and she is pissed. She rips Nick. She calls him a hypocrite, and and reminds him he's sleeping with a married woman, and she leaves without telling him what she put on the tape. She's really gonna come at this from a different way, and I don't think it's gonna help Nick out at all. We also see Chelsea telling Billy about the car breakdown and the fact that her and Gabe talked, and that it was a little bit creepy. You know that Billy is getting worried because he knows Gabe is all over. I mean, I don't know why they haven't come to blows in this instance, but I guess having Gabe save his life sort of puts him in a weird position. We also see Chelsea, going back, Sage runs into Gabe, and she tells him about her night. She's glowing, she's happy that she's been with Nick, and she says from now on she's looking out for herself. She doesn't care about Gabe. She wants to, it's almost like she doesn't care about the inheritance anymore. She does want to go after the guy that she wants. So it's out in the open now as far as Adam or Gabe goes. Sage, Summer, actually, we see go and visit Nick, and she's really having a tough time of it. Her husband died, and I mean, there's no one closer to her than her dad, and she sort of draws support from him. The last thing we see is Sharon, and she goes back to the cabin, and she looks very, very unstable. She sees that Faith has made a card to her father, and she rips that card up. Just as she does that, Dylan walks in. Now, Sharon knows how this makes her look, and she asks Dylan if he thinks that, she's acting unstable. And I mean, he really doesn't have anything to say until they look over at the mirror, and there's another note from the killer, and it's written in lipstick, another warning. But this is the first time Sharon's seen one, and she knows this makes her look nutty. And she asks Dylan, do you think it's me that did it? And that's where we leave off. And the teaser for the next episode looks absolutely out of this world. So I will keep you posted. It's Paul. Thanks for checking me out. Don't forget, share and subscribe. I love all the attention we're getting, and I love bringing this to you. Have a great day.